I'm Ian Baker, and I am joined by Scott Taylor with Keystone Cougar. And folks, I'm super excited. Scott is with us today, giving us the opportunity to kind of take a peek under the hood, right? Go behind the scenes, be able to take a look at how Cougars are built. So if you've ever wondered, hey, what makes them so special? Why have they been so popular for so many years? My good friend Scott here is going to walk you through and show you some of the things you don't normally get to take a look at.
Absolutely. Thanks for being here. I love this.
Yeah.
And so many years, actually, that's about to be 25 years. I just want to point that out. So
that's awesome.
And those are the things I want to show you. These are the differences, right? Everybody builds a rear living floor plan. Everybody's going to have their own take on it, right? What most people don't know is there's only a handful of awning suppliers. There's only a handful of furniture suppliers. There's only a couple manufacturers that actually build frames. So really what makes a manufacturer stand out over the competition, of course it's interiors, of course it's floor plan dialed in,
Sure.
but it's the nuts and bolts of the stuff that you don't see. That's where that 25 years of experience comes into play. Where the other new brands, they just don't have that, and we do.
Exactly.
Okay?
You've done it all.
Yeah,
you know
without
what
a doubt.
works and what doesn't.
Without a doubt. So here, starting with the frame. So we are at the beginning. This is station 1, well actually station 2, because we're not in station 1 where they normally bring the frame in. What we're going to do there is we're going to flip the frame over, put the axles on, tires on of course, and then we're also going to add our suspension, which we use the Road Armor suspension. Now here's what's great about this. Again, this is, in some cases, our fifth wheels, we're all 3/4 ton towable, but it's under 12,000 pounds, but that's still a pretty significant amount of weight.
Oh yeah.
We want to make sure that the integrity of your coach is protected. So Cougar partnered up with Road Armor. Cougar in Montana partnered up with Road Armor several years back and asked them to design something that had extra cushioning up top and down below. And the suspension is designed to sway back and forth, right?
Yeah.
So this gives you 360 degrees of extra protection that most manufacturers just don't use.
Yeah,
Okay?
and that's fantastic. That's going to help, when you get to your destination, make sure that everything is still in place, right?
Yeah, without a doubt.
No broken dishes.
Yeah, without a doubt. So all of our frames that we use on all Cougar, all 4 production facilities, are Lippert frames. And Lippert's actually right on our complex.
Okay.
And they're not too far away if we ever needed anything, right? But every frame is not only designed per Lippert's specifications, it's Keystone specifications too. There are certain areas, and when I get down further down the line, I'll point some of those areas out. Okay. But even one being full width outriggers. Your floor is going to sit on top of this, and your sidewalls sit on top of the floor. That's where a lot of the weight is. So you want to make sure we're using full width outriggers. Again, an area where some manufacturers might take a shortcut. Right? We use stamped steel beams that go across here. Some other competitors, they're using the old style of just welded beams across, where we're using a one-piece beam, and it's just more, it's sturdier, if you will.
Absolutely.
Okay. And then back here, I got to show you the freshwater tank. This 80-gallon freshwater tank in our full-size Cougar lineup.
This thing is huge.
It is huge, right? So I also want to point out the straps. So in this particular part of the plant, we're just now putting the tanks in.
Okay.
Well, we're just now getting everything set up. We're actually going to strap these in as well. So every single tank at Keystone, not just Cougar, but every single tank at Keystone is also going to be strapped in and secure to the underbelly.
All right.
Just so you know, I wanted to point that out. Moving on, I want to take you over to our actual floor decking to show you what's unique about that.
Yeah, let's go.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so Ian, a couple different ways we build our floors here at Keystone, but we're very consistent on which way we do it. Again, only 2 ways. In our light ways, we use a composite floor decking, which is a seamless floor decking that has a composite material that is water resistant, mildew resistant. It's an unbelievable material.
Is that the Hyperdeck?
That is the Hyperdeck. So you
very
already know
cool.
about it. Yeah, of course you know
cool
about
floor
it.
system.
Yeah. So we use that on our lightweight, and that will be used in our half-ton travel trailers and our half-ton fifth wheels.
Okay.
On our full-size fifth wheel, we're not as worried about weight as much as we are in our half-ton. So we build it with a conventional stacked floor.
Okay.
But we do it a little bit different than those other manufacturers. A lot of manufacturers use 4x8 sheets of maybe a plywood or an OSB.
Sure.
Well, every 4 foot you have a seam, and over time, those seams can give. Everybody has a spot in their house, one room, whatever it is, where they walk on it and it squeaks a little bit.
Yes.
Well, this is an RV going down the road, right? You get a soft spot in the floor in a Keystone, well, you might not ever buy one again. So we spent the extra money to make sure that we're not getting that. Okay.
Okay.
So whether you go with our composite flooring, the Hyperdeck, or you go with our stacked flooring, you're getting a seamless floor throughout. And I want to show you this. This is how big of a sheet of marine grade OSB. It's 8 by 24 foot sheets.
That is cool.
Versus the 4 by 8 sheets like my competitors use.
Yeah, okay? Like you said, no seams. Now, Scott, you were talking about a stacked floor.
Yeah.
Can you explain that to me real quick?
Great question. Okay, so that starts here. They're going to start cutting some of the areas out that they need to. Okay. And they're actually, we've got a few workers on both sides of this table. This is where they're actually building the floors. And it's called stacked because that's exactly what we do. We start by putting down this layer. It's called Darko Moisture Vapor Barrier.
Okay.
We put that down. Then we set the aluminum frame for the floor.
Yep.
Sets right on top of it.
All right.
We put all the insulation in there, right, in between all the studs.
Yep.
We put all of our ductwork for our furnace, right, for our heat, into the floor. So it's running right down the middle of the trailer, right? So you're heating your trailer evenly.
Perfect.
Okay. And then we put on our Dynaspan floor decking, which again is a marine grade OSB, meaning it's water resistant. It uses water repellent glue. Okay. But then we take that extra step and we wrap the Darko Moisture Vapor Barrier over the actual floor as well.
I love it. That's a really cool, super solid floor system there.
Yeah. And I'm going to show you something here in the next station about something that we get to do on this as well, which is hide the water lines in there and insulate those.
All right.
But from there, it goes on this hoist, which takes it all the way to the actual factory line itself.
Cool.
And I'll take you over there.
Yeah.
All right, now that we're over here, again, that the beam is going to bring the floor over, and now we're actually on the factory line. So one of the things I didn't point out is I'm going to show you some areas that are off the actual line itself. Those are the areas where we're building the material to actually put it together on the factory line. So this is actually the assembly line that we're on right now.
Okay, it's kind of like we did with the floor.
That's exactly right.
Line, bring it over.
That's exactly right. So now it's built. Now it's over here. Now we're assembling everything together. And again, you can see a quick look at our heat vent here. Again, running through the whole main area of the floor, so we're heating the trailer evenly. But you also, on these stacked floors, we can also run the water line through the floor, where a lot of the manufacturers are going to run them up underneath the floor into the underbelly.
Okay.
Right? So it's an extra thing that we can do because we're doing this on the stacked floor.
Yeah, that's fantastic, keeping everything nice and toasty. And I like that because the way you have the floor here, you can kind of decide where you're going to put the vents. That's nice.
Without a doubt, yeah. Yep, perfect. All right, let's keep moving.
Cool.
All right, Ian, while we're looking at the underbelly, this is one area that I wanted to point out. This is called astrofoil insulation. This was a necessary insulation that we added all the way back in 2005 that helped us, not only were we tested, but we achieved and passed a 0-degree rating. And we're one of the first fifth wheels to ever do it. And again, that was 2005. That was such a long time ago.
Yeah, that's impressive. There's still not a lot of manufacturers that can claim that, be able to camp in the cold like that.
Yeah.
That's really cool you guys were able to do it that early.
Well, and we not only put it in the underbelly, but we also put it in the bottom of the floors of our slides. And we also do that on travel trailers, which most brands, they don't put the same type of insulation on travel trailers as they do fifth wheels. Cougar does.
That's great.
Okay, and now that I've shown you where they actually set up the floor and the production line, this is basically what it looks like after we put the linoleum on there. All right. I want to take you to where we actually install the sidewalls, which is our next major component that we're going to add to the actual fifth wheel. Okay. But before we do that, you can actually kind of look at the next 3 stations. Now you're starting to see some of the interior walls take place, and here's why. Yeah. Those interior walls are going to be screwed into the sidewalls, and those are extra support. So that's not just a wall that separates a room. There is structural integrity there as well. So while it may not look like we're doing a ton over these next 3 stations, we absolutely are.
Yeah, when you're talking about structure and rigidity of the coach, this is where it's happening.
Absolutely.
Wonderful.
Now let's go talk sidewalls.
Yeah.
All right, I told you I was going to take you to sidewalls. I'm changing that up for a second because I almost missed a key component of our frame, which I told you before, we do things a little bit different. It's in the areas that you don't see. Yeah. And this is case in point one of them. This is a patent that we've had this patent for Keystone for a long, long time. It's called our max turn technology. So if you think about it, short bed trucks, unfortunately your cap, it gets really, really close to the back of those trucks, right?
Can make those sharp turns a little scary.
That's exactly right. So how do you achieve max turn technology? Most beams up front from most of my competitors run flat across.
Sure.
Okay, so this beam would be all the way out here.
Yep.
Well, how do you get a max turnability, if you will?
Yeah.
Your front cap has to stick out very, very far for that to do that.
Yep.
What most customers don't know is we all measure our fifth wheels from the middle of the pin box all the way back.
Yes.
Most caps stick out maybe 10 inches to an extra foot past that.
So most of them are actually longer than what is listed.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Not Cougar, right?
Okay.
Because we use this rolled I-beam that, again, is patented,
Yep.
our front cap can mold around this, and now it's not
Okay.
sticking out further than what is advertised. With the full size does about an inch, maybe an inch and a half, but the half ton is right on that pin box.
That's a huge thing. If someone is looking, again, to have that exact measurement, whether it's for storage or fitting in a campsite, whatever it may be, I mean, a foot can make a huge difference.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
And don't forget, some brands, to achieve it, they either have a flat beam across,
Yep.
or they have a beam that they have a beam here and they weld, and then they have a small section and 2 welds and then 2 more welds. Well, this is where the stress of your fifth wheel, when you're towing, this is all the stress.
Absolutely.
This is the part you need beefed up the most.
Yep.
The more welds, the more weak points. Again, that's why we spend more. That's why we patent this rolled beam right there.
That's cool.
Cool.
All right.
All right, we made it to sidewalls.
We're
Right,
here.
I told you we would. Okay. So a couple things before I actually show you our sidewall. One of the things that I want to mention is our actual lamination facility. So it is an enormous facility. It's double the size of any of our other plants here at Keystone. But the main thing is it builds all of our sidewalls in a climate-controlled building. Why is that important? Well, we're laminating layers together with glue.
Yeah.
Glue needs the right humidity, needs the right temperature for it to cure properly, right? So it's very important that we do that. Whether it's 100 outside or 0 outside, we're 71 degrees inside this facility.
All
If
right.
there's not enough humidity, we even pump humidity in the plant as well. So bar none, we've got the best lamination facility in the entire industry.
That's impressive.
But, and that's another tour for you, you need to do that sometime. But we're in the Cougar plant right now. So what the lamination facility does is they will bring in a whole sidewall on this dolly right here.
Okay.
And if you notice just at the top, that's actually going to be a slide out. Why this is important is it comes in as one full wall.
All right.
The lamination facility starts cutting that out, but inside the factory in this station, the plant workers are gonna finish routing that out.
Okay.
And that wall is gonna go to the slide out department, and it will meet back up with this trailer on the production line. So we have the consistency of the wall being the same throughout.
Well, and that's a big deal when you're talking about fit, when you're talking about color. Like that's huge.
Yeah, absolutely. So right here's that, and then they take this big crane or hoist, if you will, and then we're gonna take it right over to the fifth wheel that you see right over here.
All right.
Okay. Okay, and remember I told you back when we were looking at the frame, they're the full width outriggers.
Yeah.
I wanted to show you what I meant by that, okay?
Please.
Because this is really where it's important. We just talked sidewalls, and we're actually just brought the sidewall over to the trailer.
Okay.
These are the full width outriggers. Now, again, that supports the floor, which is here, which the sidewall sits on top of the floor, and of course, when I get to the roof section, you're gonna see the roof sits right on top of the sidewall. So you can see there, we need a full width outrigger.
Yeah, you
here.
need that stability.
And at Keystone, we use full width outriggers all the way along the side of the trailer, both sides of the trailer, where some manufacturers, they may use a full width outrigger, but it's not everywhere in the trailer. And they're doing that. They're using a smaller outrigger in some places to save on money and weight.
So it's only going to come maybe like halfway out, say, and then that's a lot of extra weight.
Every outrigger, we are screwing the wall and the floor. It's butting up next to each other, and that you need that structural integrity.
Yeah, cool.
Cool.
Good to see it. I like I like the visibility.
Perfect. Okay, we made it up to the roof section.
Yeah.
All right, so this actually right here is one of the roof sections. Again, I told you earlier, everything is built out here.
Yep.
We put it together on the assembly line, okay?
Yep.
So this trailer right here behind us, actually it is ready to go first thing tomorrow morning when they come in. They are gonna start installing those roof sections. And you can see how they would sit on the sidewalls, on top of the sidewalls right there on that aluminum stud right there. There's actually wood inside there too. So they're screwing down into the aluminum, which has wood into it. Again, all part of that structural integrity.
Yeah.
And in the last station where we're talking sidewalls, as you can see the interior walls there as well, you can see where all of that kind of does play a point in that structural integrity as well, right? In this next station, while we're here, now you're starting to see some of the electrical wiring, which by the way is color-coded and numbered wiring. To my knowledge, we're still one of the only manufacturers that uses color-coded and numbered wiring across the board.
Which is crazy.
Versus just white wiring, like some brands. It's crazy that they do that, but hey, that's them. We also use our foam core insulated ducts, and we're going to get up close and I'm going to show you what these foam core insulated ducts are, but that is for our AC, for our air conditioner. Okay?
Yep.
And notice how they're running down the length of the coach there. This will be prepped for 2 ACs or can come from the factory with 2 ACs.
Okay.
But if it does not come with 2 ACs, it'll be prepped for it, and it's all the wiring is there ready to go for someone to install pretty
And
easily.
that's all part of that being tested 0 to 100, right? Those
That's
100,
exactly
those
right.
100 days,
That's
sometimes
right.
those 2 ACs can definitely help.
That's exactly right.
Awesome.
Next, I wanted to show you our air conditioner ductwork. Now, this is all part of our Blade air conditioner, Blade Pure, as a matter of fact, what we use at Cougar.
Okay.
Air conditioner system, which is 20% more efficient than anything else out there on the market.
Yeah.
Right? But this is just a small component of it. I wanted to point this out because this is just one of those, that next innovation that Keystone engineers came up with that the other manufacturers just don't use.
Sure.
Most manufacturers do use a foam core insulated duct, like we use, but they're still securing these together like we used to, right? Which is they butt them up and they put tape around them, and unfortunately, as you can see, these can get compressed, right?
Yeah.
Which means loss of airflow.
Absolutely.
So our engineers came out with something to make sure that that didn't happen anymore, and that's called a thermoplastic coupler, fancy word for a plastic piece, that fits in between both ducts, and once it's in there, now you cannot collapse it anymore. And again, that just maximizes that airflow. Just another Keystone innovation, and there's several more of these that, again, you can't see, but that they're in and they're part of that Blade technology.
Sometimes it's the small things,
It
right?
is, absolutely. Perfect. All right, so, and we skipped just a couple stations, and it was more of the same, really. We're running the wiring, right?
Yeah, yep.
And then we're also finishing the duct work, and down below is you'll have workers that are attaching all the lights, right?
Right, yeah.
So up here you didn't see much more than what I just showed you,
Right.
except for this next station where now you're seeing the actual decking, the roof decking go on, and that is a 3/8 inch OSB that we put on there as well, which is fully walkable. But here's something that's a little bit different that we do,
Okay.
that other brands do not.
All right.
Of course, we want you to get on your roof. You need to get up there.
Absolutely.
But we also want you to be able to get on your slide outs as well. And Cougar's slide outs are fully walkable as well. And
Really?
I don't know of another brand in the industry that does that outside of Keystone.
That is actually a really big accomplishment. That is cool. That is, again, something I haven't heard of.
Yeah.
And that's, I could see that'd be super beneficial, being able to get up there, clean everything off. That's wonderful.
Perfect. So right before they actually put the TPO membrane on there, which by the way is warranty for life.
Okay.
We put the Mylar tape down. We actually sand every seam on that roof, and then we tape every seam so that we have a nice even surface before we put that TPO material on there.
Okay.
Another big department in here is the slide out department.
Okay.
Most floor plans are coming with at least 2 up to 4 slide outs on a Cougar, right? So
Yeah.
this is a pretty big department here. And we actually, it's almost like their own assembly line here. So we're building the box over here on their own assembly line before it meets back up with the trailer itself. And remember, I told you about the sidewall. That sidewall on the slide out actually will meet back up with the exact same sidewall that it came into this factory from.
That's some organization.
A little
yeah,
bit.
Yeah, that's neat.
We've done it for a little while. So. This area is, I really want to point this out to your customers because it's kind of a common misconception that this slide out's better or this slide out mechanism's better than the
Sure.
other. And there's just, unfortunately, there's a lot of bad information out there. All slide mechanisms, they're all dialed in.
Yeah.
So long that they're used in the correct application. What do I
Okay.
mean by that? There's 3 mechanisms out there. There's the cable slide system, which the benefits of cable slide are they're lightweight.
Yep.
They can be used in any application. They're above floor slides, so great for bed slides and what have you as well. But again, they can carry the weight of most slide, whether that's kitchen or sofa, what have you, right?
Okay.
Then if we come over here, I want to show you a couple others.
Yeah.
So on this particular trailer, and we use all 3 slide mechanisms at Keystone.
Okay.
This is your heavy duty rack and pinion slide at Keystone.
Yep.
Benefits there, tried and true. It's heavy duty. That's what it's meant for, those heavy slides, right?
Yeah. Yep.
And certainly that's one of the pros. Well, but the motor also goes through the slide. So in some cases, if I use that slide and everything, you might not be able to have that 80-gallon freshwater tank capacity, right?
Yes,
Again,
it's going to be run through there.
Yeah, we're smaller footprints, so we don't have as much space underneath.
Okay.
So in some cases, we'll use this slide, in some cases, we will not.
All right.
And then the other slide mechanism is the in-wall slide system, or also known as a Schwintek slide system.
Yep.
Okay. Now,
Very commonly see them on the bedrooms.
yeah, absolutely, but you don't see them down below because
Correct.
that's not what they're meant for, right?
Okay.
They're meant for maybe a sofa slide. a wardrobe slide or a bed slide.
All right.
They're not meant for your huge dinette sofa slide, or they're definitely not meant for your kitchen slides.
Yeah.
Okay?
Okay.
So again, I want to point out that we do use all 3 slide mechanisms, and
Sure.
there's reasons why we use all 3 in certain spots, and we want to grow our tank capacity, right? We want to keep our weight down in certain areas,
Yep.
right? And we just want to maximize the interior space of the trailer as much as possible. So all 3 are well dialed in, so long that they're used in the correct application.
And Scott, I think that is some great information. If you know, if people I'm sure that are watching this did not know that, but that's great to know that all 3 slides are great, all the mechanisms, to just make sure you're using them for the right application.
That's exactly right.
Perfect.
Awesome. 26 stations later, you are now in a completed Cougar, right? Actually, one more station. We go through the PDI where we do all of our inspections.
Okay.
The last inspections inside the plant. But,
Sure.
We have gone through 26 stations, and I showed you how we do things a little bit different than most manufacturers. Again,
Yep.
we all build similar floor plans to an extent.
Sure.
We use a lot of the same components, but it's the stuff that we do different that most customers will never see. That's where we stand out, and that's just that 25 years of experience.
Well, and Scott, I appreciate it. I mean, obviously there's the things you do see, right? Like the gorgeous new interiors. But like I said, the cool thing about doing the plant tour is you get to see the behind the scenes. You get to see some of those things. And sometimes even the smallest things can make the biggest difference. We're talking about quality of construction. So thank you so much for your time. Thanks for taking me through. Awesome. I appreciate it, buddy.
Thanks. Appreciate it.